how to cultivate this second turning wisdom of Cintamaya Panna via inquiry, contemplation, and reflection on the truth as proclaimed by Lord Buddha. So, for those who are new, maybe you may not heard of this second turning before. So I will explain a bit. So under the first sermon, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, when the Buddha met the five ascetics, he spoke this Four Noble Truths. Then he turned it 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. So a total of 4 truths, turned 3 times, there are 12 modes. So 3 times 3 turning. Each and every of the turning correspond to a wisdom that can be realized. So the first turning, like what we went through as defined earlier on, is called Cintamaya Panna. Sutta is, like you all know, during the time of the Buddha, the discourse of the Buddha. So if you have heard the discourse of the Buddha, then realize the awakening or enlightenment, then it is called wisdom born of hearing the Sutra as proclaimed by the Buddha. So now that the Buddha is already no longer around, so you can't hear it directly from the Buddha. But there are recorded teachings. That's why nowadays we are more fortunate. You can read from the Pali text, or you can read from the commentaries, and also the translations. Then all these are actually recorded much later after the Buddha's parinibbana. I think a few centuries after that, because at that time there was no writing and no advancement of paper, ink, and all those things. Then now we have evolved further, be able to have computer, printer, books, then digital records. So all this has made it more convenient. So now you can listen to the teaching as taught by other teachers, taught by other Dhamma practitioners, and sometimes even expressed and taught by great monks and Zen masters. So if you listen attentively, if there is truth in what is spoken, then there is some form of understanding that you can develop. It's just like when you are studying. You need teacher in the school or in the university to give you, they call lecture or classes. If it's a new subject, normally you find it more difficult to pick up. But after listening a while, you become more familiar. But our school syllabus, university syllabus, during my time, you can only listen directly. If you are not there, it's not recorded. Nowadays it seems it's recorded. Recorded in the digital media, and you can play it anytime, or you can download it anytime. So these are the difference. So if you have such condition, like now, our brutio.com, our website, my website, you can go and log in, listen to it again. Then, apart from listening, you can also read it out if it's on the digital format or computer format, you can have ebook, digital version, or physical printed version. So all this has made it more convenient. Then apart from that, you can also maybe listen to live lecture, like live telecast, just like our Zoom session and all those things. So whatever media you go through, whether you listen, you read, or you get it from the internet or media, is up to you. So this form of learning, we call it also under the first turning, Cintamaya Panna. So if you have your training in the past, or you have developed some form of cultivation, then you listen or you read out, you can actually develop the understanding deeper. So this first turning wisdom depends whether you first time listen to it, or you have listened to it before, you have read up before, you have contemplated, reflect, inquire. Then you develop the second turning wisdom, which is after you have heard. Normally it's not stable, your understanding. It's like you are still not sure. Then you go back, like the school, you got the textbook, you read. So if you have your talent from the past, or there is a subject you like when I study, I like maths and science, I don't really need teacher. I read up, I understand. But subject that I am not good, like literature, language, I cannot. I need teacher. So what happened is, after you hear not much understanding, that you go to a textbook, you read, reflect, contemplate, inquire, then the understanding become better. So this is what we mean by when you contemplate into the Dhamma, or the discourse of the Buddha. You develop some form of contemplative understanding and wisdom. So they call this the second turning. Contemplation, reflection, and inquiry. Why did the Buddha say that? How can I understand all this? So these are inquiry. Then when you inquire, you develop further reflection and contemplation. Then it will help you understand deeper. So it's like stabilizing your understanding by assimilating into your, initially before you detect your true mind, the silent mind, the awareness nature, then you assimilate it into your memory, which is knowledge. But when you have the awareness, the mindfulness, you can actually assimilate it through your understanding, which is your nature. So this second turning wisdom, which I'm going to share with you, is very important. The listening, like what you listen now, you can develop the understanding. But you have cultivated before in the past. When you listen, it can trigger off enlightenment in the here and now more easily. Yeah. So the three turnings of the Four Noble Truths. The next page I have them all. Okay, good. Although the question is how to cultivate a second turning wisdom. So in fact here I actually describe all the Four Noble Truths and its three turning. Yeah? So the Buddha said, this Noble Truth or dukkha is to be understood. Oh, sorry, this is second turning. You see, the first Noble Truth, as I have taught you, the proclamation by the Buddha is what? This is the Noble Truth of suffering or dukkha. So the proclamation is that title. Then he elaborated. Birth, old age, sickness, and death is dukkha. Separation from your loved one and prized possession is dukkha. or things that you cling on to, hold on to covetously. Then when you are with people whom you don't like, when you cannot get what you want, when things don't go your way, when your expectation in life is not met, also brings about dukkha. Then he summarized the 8 condition or 8 reality. In short, it is due to living beings, sakkayaditthi, self-delusion, the condition that the grubs at the 5 aggregate of form and mind that I call dukkha. So what are these 5 aggregate of form and mind? The 2 aspects I already explained. First aspect, as a human being, we have a physical body, we have a mind. The mind can be broken down into 4 aggregates of feeling, perception, activity of mind, or mind states, sankhara, and vijnana. You are capable of consciousness. So these 4 aggregates of mind is what your mind can do. It can feel, it can perceive, it can develop thinking, mind states, mental intention, activity of mind. Everything that your mind can do, including feeling and perception, is sankhara. Then it can become conscious. Conscious of what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you tactile feel and think. So 5 aggregate. Physical body, form aggregate, mind, 4 more aggregate, 5 aggregate. First aspect. Second aspect is within the mental, every moment of consciousness, this perception through mental image, you perceive the external form. The 6 sense bases all have their various type of external form. Like seeing. What are the external form? Huh? Seeing consciousness. What are the external form? Color, shape and form outside. Then hearing consciousness. Sound is one of them. Music is one of them. But generally it's vibration, isn't it? You must have vibration, isn't it? And sometimes high frequency beyond your senses, you cannot hear. No? The dog can hear. The other animal with their frequency range higher, they can hear. And the scientists know they can play the decibel. Scientists, the vibration, they have this term to measure it. They call decibel. So your auditable means the decibel where you can hear ranges from certain value to certain value. Below that you cannot hear. Above that also you cannot hear. But sometimes the vibration are very strong, very intense. Sometimes very subtle. Then the other one, like your smell, you know. What is the sense object? Odor, understand not? The smell or whatever. Huh? Then taste, also same. Huh? Like whatever food you have, spices and all those things, the drinks, whether it's salty, sweet, or fragrant or whatever. Then you have the last one, tactile, the bodily tactile sensation. Whether it's hot or cold, pleasant or unpleasant, you can detect them. You can become conscious of them. So these are the sense data. Yeah. The second aspect is when you perceive the sense data through your mind, this external form enters the mind. 4 aggregate plus the external form, mental, 5 aggregate inside. That is the second aspect that the Buddha talked about. And when you input the content of consciousness, which is mainly sankhara, then this receptacle, which is a pure consciousness, and the content become a thought. Understand not? That's why your thought is created through a pure awareness. You see how our nature creates thought. Initially, it's pure awareness. Then what you do? You use your sanya to perceive. Understand not? When you perceive, what happened? You are no longer aware, isn't it? What happened? You shrink your, no, before the thinking, you shrink your awareness to the one that you perceive, isn't it? That's why you dwell there, understand? No? So initially it's spacious awareness. So this spacious awareness is without a center. Means your awareness can expand out and become the oneness, one with the universe, or one with the environment, depending on the extent of awareness that you can develop. Then what happens is, this is your true mind, okay? True mind. It's okay, okay, thank you, Cesar. So, from here, true mind, spacious awareness, when you try to know something, you perceive, understand? Which means you shrink your spacious awareness into a small space to enable you to perceive. Perceive what? Perceive the external form. Can follow? Like you want to perceive the rupa, you shrink there, then you dwell there. You want to perceive my voice, you listen attentively with hearing consciousness, then you look at me. Understand? That's why you shrink your consciousness here and try to listen to the vibration. So spacious awareness shrink and become a limited awareness. This is where you perceive. Maybe no need to write so long. Huh? The Pali word sanya shorter. So perception is actually sanya. So you perceive. Then like Beng Lim just now said, the moment you perceive, what happened? Huh? How do you think? You go to your memory, isn't it? So perceive through memory. Then you retrieve through your memory. Because there is knowledge you accumulate. Otherwise, when you see something that you never hear before, you don't have accumulated knowledge, you don't know what the thing is. Understand? That is like direct seeing, see things as they are. Because you cannot describe that. You got no knowledge of what the thing is. Understand? You cannot label it with a word or a concept. But the moment you label the word and the concept, what happened? You didn't really see already, understand? The word is more important. Like you say, microphone. You take for granted you know what microphone is, something that magnifies my voice. But do you really see this guy? When you see this as it is, there is no word, nothing to describe this. This is this, seeing things as they are. You understand? But because you take for granted that the word microphone, microphone lah. What is there to see? That's why the beauty, the pristine beauty and wonder of this thing, you cannot see. Because you don't have the direct seeing. You are only interested in knowledge. Everything also you create word, concept, then images, mental formation, then you think, then you, through memory, belief system, conditioning, all of your tradition and all those things, your whatever knowledge, you use that to act. That's how you stir your mind. That's how you create thought. You input the content of consciousness. Content of consciousness. Then you become conscious of this thing that you perceive. Buddha Rupang, you label it. Okay? So what happened? This one become the thought. The second aspect of your five aggregate of form and mind. So this one is a thought. Understand? Then do you know what Krishnamurti said? Thought is Respond to memory is the first one, because for you to perceive, you need memory. Need memory. Then after that, what else he say?
Thought is limited.
Very good. Thought is limited. Why? Compared to the spacious awareness, this one has shrink. This one only know is content, understand not? Lost in thought, preoccupied with what you are thinking, understand? You are in your own world, understand? That's why it's limited. Then how can you understand whatever there is out of it? Understand? Without awareness, you cannot know what is happening outside. When the thought creates a container, that's why I say this one can be aware of this. Because this one is a byproduct of this, understand not? From that pure awareness, which is only aware, you input the container, it becomes a thought. You have to aggregate the feeling, and that is the one that creates all the entanglement, grasping, clinging, and the coming, understand not? That's why Krishnamurti said, thought is limited. Thought cannot realize the state of awareness which can see things as they are, develop all the understanding and wisdom, because it is limited. That's why you have to have the awareness beyond thought, beyond mind. Means beyond the psychological time, beyond thought, beyond time, to realize the truth, to see things as they are, to develop the wisdom. Now you understand. That's why this one can only think and limited, and it cannot contemplate, reflect. To contemplate, you have to have some form of space through a calm mind, through some space. If you don't believe me, sometimes you go and study, especially when you study. Last time I science student, I know I good at maths, so we are very interesting in solving maths problem, because almost all the maths problem we can solve. There's some very tough one. A few of the good students in the class, we call them PIY in Malay. Set very high standard on. We will actually try our best to resolve it. So sometimes I keep on trying to solve it. Try here, try there, everywhere, cannot. Then you know what I did? I decided to take a rest. Then I went for a sleep. You know what happened? In the sleep, I solved the problem. The answer come out. Then I wake up, I write it down. Well, when I sleep, I rested my brain. Then there is more space. I'm not limited to thought. I become more contemplative. Means inside there, I can, like, with clarity, reflect on it. When you think too much, all this knowledge cloud you. You cannot have, they call what, creative thinking or creative understanding. That's why contemplation, reflection is with quite a lot of what they call calm mind that has space, understand not? Which is aware one. So this one is creative. This one can create thought, can create a lot of things, understand not? So when this one, you are with the awareness, it becomes creative. It will create the type of thought that allow you to understand. You understand? That's why the talented musician, talented artists, talented people, you know what they do? They like to go to a quiet place, tranquil, a place that suits them. You know Su Tongpo, isn't it? Who is Su Tongpo? The famous poet, isn't it? During the time of one of the emperor, one of the dynasty. You know how he come up with such great poem? When he is in this setting where he is very creative, and the other thing he did is he drink. He drink and he become creative. Because that is his way. So spacious awareness compared to the thought is definitely more intelligent and much more like creative and supreme. So this one is the nature that is responsible for the arising of these, and all this thought, which is consciousness, is the phenomenal world. That's why the phenomenal world consciousness. And all these are all limited one. It cannot understand what is beyond its content. That's why Krishnamurti always tell you, thought is limited. Don't use thought. Thought-based meditation, you can never realize the state that is beyond thought, means the direct seeing, the awakening, the creative nature, or you can never develop it. Now you understand? Huh? Okay, then I read on, maybe it will be easier for you. So when it comes to the first noble truth, you have to reflect and contemplate on the first proclamation by the Buddha. Why did the Buddha say birth is suffering? Old age, sickness, and death is suffering. All the eight reality is suffering. Then why the final summary like that? So to inquire, what must you do? You must at least know what the five aggregate is, the two aspects. Otherwise, how to put in the investigate, how to inquire, how to put to test that if I grasp and cling to the five aggregate, I suffer. Like the other day, when I show you the two aspects, then I give you an example. You attach to this physical body, what happened? You suffer, isn't it? Because you think it's you. Security. You worry about it. You worry about your what? Getting old, getting sick and die, understand now? The first three contemplation that the Buddha wants you to do. They say every day you contemplate, then you know this one is not you. These are elements, go the way of nature, understand? That's why this body of mine is of the nature to grow old, get sick and die. For it has not gone beyond old age, sickness and death. So when you confront them, don't panic. Because this is a reality. Every living being who live life long enough have to experience it, confront it, and go through it. If you don't have this wisdom, this Dhamma, this contemplation, then you attach, you cling, you worry about you getting old, getting sick, and die. When you get old, you worry you have dementia. Then your senses fail you, and all those nonsense. The center on it. On the light, on the light, the center. No, here. One of the, no, not that switch. The other on your right. No. The top one. That one. Okay. Okay. So where was I just now?
Attachment to the five aggregates from mind, body.
You worry about you getting sick, getting old and die. You scared. Get old means what? Like Suya say, through memory, you project already, and haven't happened yet. So when you project your thought, they say, dementia. No, I forget full. Is it dementia? Is it the beginning? So for no reason, haven't happened, you panic, you worry. And what is it? Suffering, isn't it? When you project your thought, fear, worry, anxiety arise. You become restless. Understand? No peace. This is the real paticca samuppada happening in your brain, in the thought process which is limited and you cannot see.
Ask them to be positive, not to be negative.
No use on, it's still the thought us. Thought still within the field of thought, still limited, understand? That's why after so many rounds of sharing, the 5 daily contemplation until today still not many grasp it, understand? Now I have to slow down and one by one repeat and make sure it go in. But what I want you to understand is, no amount of knowledge can awaken you. Stabilize the awareness. As I did retreat, I want to send in that message. The Buddha already every day, everywhere in the teaching, Dhammapada was heedfulness, mindfulness, sati. Nobody seems to understand. Nobody seems to catch the importance, the point. If you stabilize the awareness, I don't need to repeat. One time, the moment I mention, you awaken. You understand what this thing is. So, this understanding is very important. Okay? Then after that, what happened? Because you can ask yourself, why did the Buddha say birth is suffering? Normally birth is associated with what? Huh? Happiness, eh? The parent will have this idea, eh? Wow, I'm going to be grandparent, eh? Akong ama already, akong here, akong here. So, joy, eh? Then look forward to become a father, mother. Look forward to the full moon. Then like Sui say his classmate, before the baby even born, buy clothing already. Understand? Buy all the pamper already. Buy all the thing that expect to you. Then what happen if let's say the birth is not normal? Then something wrong. I tell you, that is suffering, understand or not? What you perceive is only the good side, like Ching Yap say. Think of the good side, the positive. These are reality, not for you to think or no. You think or don't think, it can happen or no. Yeah, coming, understand or not? So when it happened, what happened? Like Angulimala Sutta. Bridge. You know what is bridge birth? Huh? Ladies know that. Upside down, see? Sweet Anne also know. The leg come out first, That type of birth is very dangerous one, can die on or suffocate inside. Sometimes the fetus die, otherwise the mother also die. So nowadays surgery improve. Doctor, cesarean, cut, put you under anesthesia, cut, like the butcher. Actually, I think the surgeon that deliver is no different from the butcher in a sense. But because of all this medical advancement, so you can resolve it. Otherwise, during Angulimala's time, luckily you got Angulimala Sutta, you can chant and recite. So this is so this is what will happen when you inquire. Then you realize the Buddha is so wise. Birth is not joy, not happiness. Then the other thing is, the mother carry the baby for 9 to 10 months. You think happy occasion, joy. You ask the mother who has gone through delivery, morning sickness, vomiting. Then as you carry the baby, the pregnancy, you lost your ability to be mobile, to eat what you like. You have to follow up a doctor. That type of doctor you call it? Gynecology. Then once got complication, you panic. So birth is suffering, really. Then old age sickness, and then no need to teach you. Your age we know already. You look at Auntie Song Kia also Ai Jayanta Kan now. But Akong still good, except hearing a bit no good. The sight a bit no. But these are natural. First noble truth reality, understand now? You have to confront. You do what you have to do. So this is understanding life. No more complaint, understand now? When I face it, I confront. This is a reality. Then I do what I need to do. I need to seek solution. I seek solution. Solution can be scientific or TCM or anything that you can come across. But Dhamma understanding is the best solution. It will solve everything without spending money, free. Understand? So a lot of understanding is needed for you to understand the noble truth reality. Then separation already explained. When you are with people who you don't like, already explained. When you cannot get what you want, expectation met, already explained. The summary, the 5 aggregate also we went through. So now we read on, you will understand. Inquiry. After the Buddha proclaimed the first noble truth, you should inquire, why did the Buddha say that? It is because the Buddha knew we need to inquire, reflect, and contemplate. So this is the guiding word. This noble truth or dukkha, the first noble truth that he proclaimed, is to be understood. Means what? When you have Dhamma knowledge, have you understood? You haven't, That is Dhamma knowledge. Is to be understood, means is to really have the not just say, I know lah, the sutta, like theory, you go for exam, first noble truth, define. Oh, rattle out. Verb, OA, everybody can rattle, but how many understand? So to understand means to actually inquire, reflect, and contemplate through inquiry to develop the understanding, like what I teach you just now. When you inquire means you try to recall and recollect what happened to the birth process. Here you gone through life. Like when I went through life when my wife pregnant, then how Sui is born. I know, the whole process I was with her. That's why I am not a lady. How did I know a lot of this birth thing? Because this is the reality, and I can also read about it, Google it where I want to. So when you understand, you can recollect through memory. Understand not? How all those things happen. So the inquiry will let you develop the understanding through recollection. Then it will help you stabilize the first noble truth reality. It's no longer a theory, birth is suffering. Now I understand why birth can be suffering now. When there is complication, the mother go through, the whole process is really suffering. You know the birth process is even more suffering, even normal birth, not breech. You ask the lady and see. You have to push until you're almost exhausted, like my wife. But the joy of having a child, the mother's love and all those things. Of course, it comes in the conditioned world, the duality, understand, the good and the bad. You cannot say I want the good and don't want the bad, understand? But it comes as a bad, understand? So when you understand, you don't complain, you don't panic, you don't project, you don't develop the fear. You develop the understanding, then you move. Then life becomes beautiful, meaningful. Then after that, the inquiry can allow you to sincerely reflect, contemplate, and inquire deep into the first noble truth reality of dukkha, to understand, to truly understand what dukkha is before we confront it, so that we can be prepared for it or wary of it. This will also enable us not to be caught in dukkha or suffering. We are not understanding that we are already suffering. Means this noble truth, when it afflicts you, you still don't know you are being afflicted. You are suffering mentally, your fear, worry, anxiety, your panic attack and all things, your unhappiness, your worry, your anxiety. All this is suffering, mental suffering, dukkha. But a lot of people don't know. They still blame, no. My husband send me to general hospital, don't want to spend money private hospital. Understand? Then complication happen at time. Ayo, we didn't know must japo and all those things. I never japo. After delivery, I become very chan. You complain again. Understand? But the reality is there is your karma. Understand? Well, the Buddha already said we are all born. So take care karma. You don't take care karma, that will be the outcome. So don't blame anybody. So all this understanding will be there. Then after that, how can I develop the understanding of what dukkha is? One can do it via above reflection, contemplation, inquiry into the 5 daily contemplation as recommended by the Buddha, with a calm and composed mind filled with saddha, virya, sati, the first 3 of the 5 spiritual faculty, following what we have done during the Sutra class, which I have described.